Before we go on to do some more practice, a word on how to name things. So we've seen some examples of a tag. So for example, here's a div tag with an ID of egg. Then something happens, then it closes. So you can have IDs on things. You can have classes on things. You have ID equals egg, class equals vocab, or some of the ones we just, a couple of the ones we just saw just now. Oops, thanks, TextEdit. It's a good idea to follow good naming conventions for these things, and actually you have to, otherwise it will not work in the browser. So here are some basic rules for naming. And even with things like file names, it's good to follow rules like this just to keep your life easier. So for IDs and classes, the rules are they should be alphanumeric, so A through Z, numbers 0 through 9, and the underscore, no special characters, no spaces. So A through Z, underline, dash, and those are, and then 0 through 9. So these underscore and dash could be used. So here's some examples of, and then to add to our rule set, no special characters, no spaces in there, and then, so special character would be something like at, question mark, etc. No spaces, and then usually IDs, and this is true for many programming languages, in addition to HTML, which is a markup language, you should not start with a number. So don't start with a number. It's fine to start with an alphabet, like a letter. I would say also it's okay to start with an underline, but I wouldn't do it. So an underline, but not recommended. Don't start with a hyphen. The hyphen is this one, the dash. So here are some legal names. Egg 3, egg 3. Eggs and issues 1, 2, 3, 4, fine. Often if you're using multiple words in your IDs, you'll use intercaps to make it easier to read, so capitalizing the interior ones. There's also no real case issues, so these could be uppercase if you want. Usually in HTML and CSS we leave them in lowercase though. And you can use hyphens, so eggs and issues. This is not true in programming languages, but in CSS and HTML, the attributes, it's fine to have hyphens in there. So I wouldn't be able to do that in a language like Java, though. So illegal examples would be starting with a number. 3 is my favorite. You can't do that because it starts with a number. I love CSS, has spaces. Wow has special characters. So those are some examples. So if you just stick to start with a word, put the numbers in later, and you can add underscores, you can add intercaps, you can add hyphens in order to improve readability. You should be safe.